Let's talk about the schedule. I've been thinking a lot about this schedule and the way it sets up, and I did a video a couple months back just previewing the structure of this year's schedule, not giving a win-loss prediction. I'm not doing that for a couple of weeks. I want to wait until I'm extremely confident in my prediction before I actually put it out there. But I've just been thinking about the way the schedule pans out, and I think there's one game on this schedule that is more important than all the rest. And that's kind of a ridiculous thing to say when you play Alabama, LSU, you struggle with the Mississippi schools on a yearly basis. Arkansas is always a game. It's kind of hard to single one out, but I've been really leaning towards one game kind of defining the season. And I know that's probably a bold statement. It's football. Every week is its own mini season. Every week is its own instance. But I really think there's a slippery slope here. You're coming off of a 5-7 year. You're coming off of a big win versus LSU, a little bit of momentum coming from practice reports, and Bobby Petrino sounds like it's panning out in the early days. There's a lot going on that's positive coming off of a very, very negative situation. So let's go ahead and pull the schedule up, and I'm going to tell you guys what I'm thinking. So I'm sure most of you guys know how this schedule shakes out. You get your early matchup at Miami. You get a couple of G5 schools around that, and then you get into conference play at home versus Auburn. You end the year at LSU. You get Bama at home, and you play at Tennessee for your East draw. And the rest is typical stuff: Arkansas, Mississippi schools, South Carolina, and then you get your November cupcake. And I am here to suggest that Week 2 matchup at Miami is the most important game for several reasons for Texas A&M. First of all, it's a winnable game. On paper, roster for roster, coaching staff for coaching staff, it's a very, very winnable game on paper. You have Mario Cristobal in year 2. He struggled year 1, but he's doing a great job acquiring talent. Cristobal's a great coach. He's going to get that thing going. They get a lot of pieces back on offense. Tyler Van Dyke was in and out all year with injury, struggled there. Their O-line, I think they get their best O-lineman back from injury. Receivers are back, running backs are back. They have a lot coming back. But A&M should still be better than them. A&M should have more talent, be farther along that rebuild curve with a new coach, obviously. 6 years of Jimbo Fisher. They should be further ahead than Miami. But this game is your first road test of the year with whichever quarterback is chosen, with whichever team is being fielded for Texas A&M. This is your first opportunity since that LSU game to show that you can beat a serious Power 5 team, because last year A&M struggled with the ones they weren't supposed to struggle against, obviously in that 6-game losing streak, and App State. So if they come out and they win this game, you're looking at a 3-0 start to the year with a lot of momentum going into that Auburn game. Auburn is not necessarily in a great spot right now. You should be able to beat Auburn at home, especially if you have momentum. But what happens if you lose that Miami game? What happens if you go into week 2 against a winnable team it's a road environment, but it's not a raucous road environment. You're going to see much tougher environments in the SEC. Miami is a commuter school, and their stadium is not even on campus. So it might not even be sold out for an SEC school coming into town. If you don't win that game, how are you feeling about that Auburn game at home? Are you feeling really confident in that game and A&M's chances to win that game after you just saw your team lose at Miami 2 weeks before? I know I wouldn't feel very confident in it. I would think it goes more towards like a 60-40 split, or maybe now I'm thinking like a 75-25 chance. Those are just numbers. Don't read too much into that. But I'm not feeling great about that Auburn game if you're losing at Miami. So you're talking about a potential 4-0 start to the year, shifting over to a potential 2-2 start, or worse, because you got the SEC slate right ahead of you. You got Arkansas, you got Bama, you got at Tennessee. That can be a very slippery slope for A&M if they come out and they lose week 2 at Miami. So I think that game is the Super Bowl of the year. You go out, you win that game. I don't care if it's by 1 touchdown, 5 touchdowns, or by a point. You need to come out and win that game and get some carryover early in the year. And now you could say that about any week 2 game for any team that is hoping to achieve what A&M is hoping to achieve, and that's New Year's 6 or more. If you lose week 2, that sucks. But for A&M, the year they had before, the 5-7 year, the Jimbo on the hot seat talks, if you come out and you lose week 2, the smoke around the program is going to be absolutely disgusting. And me, you, none of us want to experience that. And I know for damn sure this team does not want to experience that. So, guys, am I reading too much into this one game? What game do you think is the most important on the schedule? Do you think that Miami game right now, as you look at it, is that important, or am I overdoing it here? I think it's so important. So, Ags need to go out and win that one. But, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Subscribe if you like this content, if you want to see more. I appreciate you all. Gig 'em.